The Lord be with you and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Glory to you. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, I came to cast fire on the earth, and would do that it were already kindled. I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how great is my distress until it is accomplished. Do you think that I have come to give peace on earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. For from now on in one house there will be 5 divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. The officials said to the king, let this man Jeremiah be put to death, for this man is not seeking the welfare of these people, but their harm. Words we have this morning taken from the book of prophet Jeremiah, chapter 38, 4 to 10. The first reading of today, taken from the book of prophet Jeremiah, tells us about one of the many conspiracies against the prophet Jeremiah. Some officials in the palace of the king never liked Jeremiah. They never liked his person, or his presence, or his ministry. As a prophet, Jeremiah was committed. He was faithful to his mission. He spoke truth to authorities, and he refused, like other people before him or even within his time, to be bought over by the influential or by the king or those in authority. So, because of his faithfulness and the kind of preaching he did, some officials went to the king and conspired against Jeremiah, told lies about him and against him. King Zedekiah, who was known in the history as a very weak king and was only interested in protecting his throne, decided to give them unhindered permission or access to Jeremiah, to deal with Jeremiah as they would want to. So they took him away, intending to destroy him, to kill him. It took the intervention of one man, Ebed-melech, to save the life of Jeremiah and his career. Today, let us not concentrate on why the king gave that order or why they conspired against Jeremiah. Or rather, let us look briefly on why the whole Judea kept silent, kept calm in the face of that injustice. Because history has it that people knew it was a gang up. People knew it was that Jeremiah was being framed up. It was a conspiracy, or it was more or less they conspired against him. They wanted to treat him unfairly. But the people kept calm. Why? And doing that also, we might find a way to connect, because sometimes we find ourselves in similar situations. When we look away, because when someone else is being marginalized, discriminated against, victimized, or bullied, we look away. Why? Maybe because we feel there's no connection between us and the victim, the person being marginalized. He's not from Nigeria, so I'm concerned about it. I'm not concerned about it at all. I don't know him. But we forget that there is a human being marginalized and treated. But because we feel there is no connection between us and the victim, we don't get involved. We look the other way. Or maybe because we have some kind of relationship with the oppressor, the person inflicting pain, the perpetrator of the evil. Maybe it's my boss in the office. Or because we have some kind of family relationship or business relationship. So when he is doing something that is not okay, when he is victimizing someone else, I dare not say anything, otherwise I might lose favor, I might put my relationship in jeopardy. So I keep away, I don't say anything. Few months after my ordination as a priest, we went for a meeting in my diocese. The priest gathered with some lay faithful of the diocese. It was time for the bishop to speak. So he gave account of certain things. After the presentation, the moderator of the meeting asked us to stand and applaud the bishop. We all stood and clapped for the bishop. But we knew, some of us knew, that some of the things he said weren't correct. After the clapping, there was this gentleman, Father James, who sat quite close to the bishop in front of among the first few front seats. So the bishop recognized that James didn't clap for him. So he said, now James, it's time for you to stand up and clap for me. So James said, no, I will stand up to clap because there are a few things that are wrong in what you said. So I can't clap for you. So the bishop said, if you don't clap for me, it's either you leave the hall, the meeting, or I will leave the meeting for you. We knew that bishop was not very correct in certain things he presented. James walked out of the meeting. We saw one of us being victimized, but we didn't say anything. Why? Because we felt that if I had spoken, I might fall out of favor with my bishop. He might punish me by sending me to some not very palatable places. So we kept away, and someone was victimized. Good enough. Towards the end of that meeting, the bishop recognized that he didn't do well. So he stood up and apologized. 2 days after, he wrote an apology to James and circulated it in the diocese. But the fact was that we were there. We saw him being marginalized, unfairly treated, but we didn't say anything because of fear, because he's our boss, because of our relationship with him, because we don't want to lose certain privileges if we have spoken and someone was unjustly treated. Sometimes we look away from maltreatment and injustice, discrimination, because also because of the benefits we might get from such maltreatment or injustice. Angelina is being discriminated or maltreated in the office. It doesn't concern me. If the CEO takes her out of that office, I might step in. So this discrimination, marginalization will actually be to my gain. Just like the people of Judah, they didn't do anything to speak out against injustice being given to Jeremiah because they were either afraid of the oppressors or they felt, oh, he is the prophet, it doesn't concern us. Let him deal with his affairs. Or because some of them we are going to benefit if Jeremiah were to be killed. When I was in the minor seminary, we had an Irish priest who was our rector. Here you call it head teacher. He was lovely. He was a good man. So one Monday morning, he came to the assembly ground, looking depressed, angered, rage. His heads were all standing up. We are like, what is happening to Father Dowling? Then he came to the assembly ground and then communicated to the student that there was an incident in one of the hostels, in one of the dormitories, that a junior student was bullied to the point that his teeth was damaged and was in the hospital at the time. So he said, I'm going to do something some of you will not forget. So he decided that the punishment will first of all go to the person who bullied the younger student, but he was not going to get the hardest of the punishment. Rather, he said, this gentleman or this guy will not get the hardest of the punishment. But there is another student who is going to be expelled from the seminary right now because when the bullying went on, he watched, he saw, and he didn't say or report anything. He called it mischievous silence. And because of that silence, that student was sent packing. That description has never left my brain. Mischievous silence. Silence in the face of persecution, bullying, marginalization, discrimination. We prefer to look away. When the people brought Jeremiah to be destroyed, into the intervention of Ebed-melech to save him. I know you that Ebed-melech was a nobody in the kingdom. He was a slave. So he had no influence. But he said something. And because of his voice, Jeremiah was saved. His career was saved. You know, when we travel around the UK, especially if you are using the train transportation system, there is this announcement that's usually made. If you see something, can I hear you? If you see something, good. Say it, sorry. Now let's bring it into a human relationship. If you see that someone is being bullied, someone is being marginalized, someone is being discriminated against, someone is being unfairly treated, say it. Because of our mischievous silence, often families have been destroyed. A career has been lost. Someone's life has been put to jeopardy. Sometimes I know that I'm also guilty of mischievous silence. It was Martin Luther King Jr. who said that at the end of all these things, we may forget the pains inflicted on us by our oppressors. We may forget how we were marginalized. We may forget how we are discriminated against. We may forget how we were unjustly treated. But one thing we will never forget is the silence of our friends. The people of Judah kept calm when they framed up Jeremiah, when they ganged up against him, when they conspired against him, when they treated him unfairly because either they were afraid to say something because of the king, or because they were going to benefit from that maltreatment and injustice, or because they felt unconsigned, or just they had some kind of relationship with those oppressing or perpetrating injustice. When I keep quiet and someone else is victimized, someone else is unjustly treated, I become indeed an accomplice.